Right, welcome to Yin Yoga. Let's find a comfortable seat, settle in, feel how the old body's going today. Little bit of jiggling and rearrangement. Find your comfortable seat that feels stable. So you're always looking for that combination of comfort and stability. And that's going to range from person to person, class to class, day to day. And before we start today's class, let's just move the spine in 6 different directions. And we'll start with some raises, lifting the arms up as you inhale and floating the arms down. So just getting a little movement in the joint, the shoulder, lifting the rib cage. You can add the head by looking up when you reach up. That will give a little bit more arch to the spine, and as you bring the hands down, you might even clamp the legs and round the back. So just giving the spine a little further range of motion here to start with. And the next time you lift up, look up, reach up. Let's sway side to side, using the left hand to balance your weight as you lean to that left side, and kind of feel the whole spine flex sideways and then come up. And then switching sides. Now you can go as slowly or as quickly as you like here. Just kind of feel that out, feel your own rhythm out for lateral flexion of the spine. One more on each side. And then coming back to neutral, bringing left hand behind the back, bring that left shoulder back and turn and look over that back shoulder. And then release and bring both hands up into the air above you and change sides, change directions. So you're feeling the whole movement of the spine twisting side to side. And once again, let your rhythm unfold, reveal itself to you, that just feels good in your own body. And the next time you come to neutral pause, and bring the soles of the feet together. So I'm on a bolster, on the edge of the bolster, so I have a forward tilt in the pelvis. If you look at that sideways, it looks like this. So you can see that tilt is just naturally forward because I'm on the edge of the bolster. And then you want something to support your head. Well, I usually would use a bolster, but I don't have that available right now, so I'm going to use blocks. And we come into our first hip opening with head support. And if for some reason your head doesn't reach the blocks, you just bring your hands out to support you. And you can just have that same opening, using the support through the hands rather than the blocks. And in each shape today, I'm going to encourage you to slow your breathing down. which simply means you breathe in more gently over a longer period of time, which results in a deeper breath without strain. And one way to do that is to break the breath into 3 parts so that the original movement of the breath feels like the belly expanding, the second part of the breath, the chest cavity expands, and then if you really want to top it off at the end, you feel the collarbones lift and widen as the air pushes the whole chest cavity upwards. We'll be here for another 5 breaths, so if you want to lower the block, lower the head, increase the forward fold, you can. And then slowly press yourself up. Remove the blocks. And coming off your seat, so your buttocks is on the ground, and stand your feet quite widely on the mat. And we'll start with some slow windshield wipering of the knees left and right. As the hips start to loosen up, you can add your arm swings. So once again, the whole spine will benefit as you move your hips. And this is preparing us for deer pose. So in deer pose, let's start with the right foot coming across to the left side of the mat, and you lean your weight forward, your torso comes forward. So this is going to allow this back leg to come behind you. So what does that look like sideways? It kind of looks like this. You've got the inside of the back knee on the mat and the outside of the front knee on the mat. So you kind of got this, I guess you could say it's a Z shape. So you can experiment here how much you want that knee forward, which is less hip opening, how much it comes back, more hip opening. So that's going to vary. And then from there, we take the weight forward over that front leg. So you can see I'm down on my elbow. You can come down onto both elbows. And you can feel the whole stretching mechanism now has moved to the outer hip, the posterior hip, the piriformis and the glutes. If you can't come to your elbow or that's too much, just use your hands for support. Or even prop your elbow up with the block. Now, if you're like me, it might take a little while for this piriformis area to relax. As it does relax over time, this is where you can walk your hands out further. This is going to give a lot more stretch into the same area as well as the rib cage. Coming into that full-blown deer shape. And once again, you're playing with the balance between intensity and effectiveness. So if this is too much, just back off a little bit again and work your way back over time. But if it feels good, you can keep reaching out. Walk your hands back towards you to lift you back up. And then as you reposition your feet into that original shape, hands leaning back, take 3 or 4 breaths simply to notice the contrast between your hips, the outer hip on that right side and left side. And then we'll start our way back to windshield wipering. You can add the swinging arm as well. Knowing we're working our way over to that other side. Next time you come to neutral, you can place the front leg, the opposite leg, down in front of you. But to reposition the back leg, you need to lean forward and swing it around behind you. So you've got that Z shape there. So I'll do a more of a front on this time. And you can come forward into your elbows or hands or blocks. Now you might find this hip feels different from the other hip, so you might wait longer in with less intensity, or you might move into the outreached hands sooner. And just remember to use that threshold of intensity in your body to go at your pace, never overexerting. And this is a little more challenging to slow the breathing down, but if you can slow the breathing down and come back to that 3-part deeper breath, belly expands, keep breathing in, ribs expand, keep breathing in, collarbones lift and widen. And once again, using the hands to walk you back, to lift you up slowly. And then once again, repositioning your feet, taking a moment to feel how the hips are after that deer pose. And then when they've settled down a bit, just once again lubricating the whole twisting action of the body. You can add the trailing arm as well. And then we'll come into some deeper work on the hip flexors by coming onto the belly and onto your belly into crocodile pose. Stack the hands, rest your forehead on stacked hands. And we'll start by big toes touching. And then big toes pointing away from each other so the feet come out wider on the mat. And then simply apply pressure to your left hip into the mat and then your right hip so you feel your buttocks wiggling from side to side, almost massaging the hip flexors. And then when you can, prop yourself up onto your elbows. So your elbows are under the shoulders, close enough so your hands can reach the upper arms. You don't want them too wide. If this is too much on the low back, you can do a number of things. Number one, you can come to tabletop and do some cat and cows just to loosen up the low back. Or you can come back down to crocodile, still working on the hip flexor opening. See if you can unshrug the shoulders, and that will be felt almost like the shoulder blades is trying to slide down the spine towards the low back. Or it may feel like you're trying to pull yourself through your chest, through the upper arms by pulling back on the forearms. Now once again, depending on your low back, keep these options open. Remember, you can come back to tabletop with cat and cow. You can come back to crocodile. Or if you'd like to go a little higher, bring the hands out to the sides of the mat and start to straighten the arms and push into the heel palms, unshrugging the shoulders, squeezing the scapula. And you start to feel the full brunt of seal pose. 5 more breaths. And then make your way down slowly to crocodile. And then press up onto all fours into tabletop. We'll give the low back a little relief with cat and cow. Once again, go at the speed or the pace that feels good for your low back. Now we'll come back to the outer hip. Slide your right knee forward to the right wrist and pivot your right foot underneath your left hip. So you can see it's created a little diagonal under my hips. Now your left foot is going to tippy toe backwards. It's going to start to stretch out. Slowly stretching into the glutes, the piriformis here. And there'll come a point where you just feel that's a deliciously yummy stretch, and it's got enough intensity. And then you can slowly point the back foot out. So that's going to help with the hip flexor again. And then rest yourself down on your elbows. If you like, you can stack your hands, fists on top of each other to support your head. And as pigeon starts to release that hip over time, you can bring the head down closer to the mat onto one fist or stacked hands. Or even all the way to the mat. And here's a chance to once again focus on the 3-part breath. Remember, gentle and slow opens the way for that depth. Belly, ribs, collarbones. You can maintain this level of intensity in pigeon, or you could even reach the arms out a little bit like deer pose. And bringing the hands back under the shoulders, you can push yourself back up. And slowly bring the knees back towards each other into tabletop. And before we go to the other side, you can stretch that bent leg that was bent, I guess it was the left leg, right leg, whatever. And just push it back and just straighten it out there. Check your low back with cat and cow. Hopefully that feels better. And then we'll try the same exercise, this time sliding the left knee forward to the left wrist. Left foot comes underneath the right hip. And then you'll start your slow walk back with the back foot until you get your delicious stretch out. Oh, there it is. It's almost like a magic spot that just hits. Now, once you've found that, that's when you can point the toes of the back foot. It's just going to give a little more on the hip flexor and come onto your elbows when you're ready. Remember, with the head, you can support it at different levels. The closer the forehead reaches the mat, the more the stretch will be felt. Long, slow breath. With or without arm reach. Bring the hands back under the shoulders when you release pigeon. Come back to your tabletop and just check in with the low back, cat and cow. Oh yeah, that feels good. And once again, we're going to come down onto the forearms, onto the belly. And this time, bring the right knee out to the side, bent at a 90-degree angle. And your back toes are pointing. And then slowly bring the head down towards the ground, either on stacked fists or hands. And then bring the hands from under the head out to the side into goalpost arms, like a crime scene shape, half frog shape. So once again, opening hip out sideways. And for those who can, grip your hands behind your back in such a way that you can maintain relaxed shoulders. So you're in this handcuffed position. And technically we're in a back bend. Anytime you lie on your belly, you've begun the process of your back bending. And in this shape, we can open the hips more by increasing the back bend. So you can remain here. It's a great hip opening as it is. Or you can prop your elbows underneath your shoulders, come up onto your forearms. So you've created this combination of a sphinx and half frog. Because we've had the head twisted to one side, you can move the head left and right a few times just to bring some blood flow back into the neck. And just like we did from crocodile, we can take this to another level by bringing the hands out to the sides of the mat and straightening the arms into a combination of seal pose and half frog. And maybe lifting the chin up and down a few times to make sure the neck is not jammed. This is a big opening on that back hip flexor. And then we'll release in stages, coming down gently until we come back to crocodile. And before we resume the other side, let's come back through tabletop cat and cow. Check with the low back. And before we go any further, let's come back to child pose slowly. Once again, tractioning out the low back. Keep the knees wide. Support the head with stacked fists or hands or the mat. Come back through tabletop cat and cow, a few iterations. And then we'll come down onto the belly and forearms with the opposite knee out. I guess it's the left knee out to the side. We start supporting the head with stacked hands. Slowly make your way to crime scene. You can add handcuff position if that works. And let's notice how it feels to come into your 3-part breath here. Slow, gentle inhale, belly expands. Then the ribs. Then the collarbones. Check in with your neck and low back and hips. And decide if you want to go to the next level of back bend or not. Propping yourself up onto your forearms. And turning the head left and right slowly. And then, of course, if you want to go to seal pose, next level of back bend. And head nods. And slowly come down to crocodile in your own time. And let's come back to freeing up the low back, hands under shoulders. Come onto all fours, cat and cow gently. Wide knee, child pose. Come back slowly, slowly, slowly. Stacking hands under the head. Or bringing the head all the way to the mat. Now, keeping your head supported, if your hands are supporting the head, replace the hands with a block or a cushion so you can start to reach your arms out in front of you. Keeping your head supported, walk both hands to the left and bring the right hand on top of the left hand. So you're stretching one rib cage. You're still in child pose, but you're got this lateral curve in the spine. Head remains supported. Walk the hands back to neutral. And then walk the hands to the opposite side. Left hand on right. Head supported. Slow breathing. Walk the hands back to neutral. And coming back to cat and cow, tabletop. Check the low back before we come on to the back. Have the strap handy on your back. Have a bolster or cushion handy. And when you come onto your low back, bring the knees together, feet apart into your TP pose. And in TP pose, have the big toes pointing towards each other slightly. And every now and then turn your head one direction and then the other. Just check your neck out. Now open the knees and bring the soles of the feet together into that traditional butterfly opening, and clasp your fingers behind the back of your skull, also with the elbows open, so you feel this gentle back bend. We call this double butterfly. Now stand the feet on the mat and the knees together, so feet and knees are together. And start to consciously push the low back into your mat. Push the feet into the mat, push the low back into the mat. Keep that foot pressure and low back pressure into the mat. Then take half a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your head off the ground and support it strongly with the hands. Keep that low back on the mat. Your abdominals are engaged. And then start to bring the elbows towards each other as you wrap the skull between the forearms. And keeping the chin towards the chest. If you want to add a little pressure between the hands into the skull, that's nice. You can even lift the back of the skull away from the neck, applying some neck traction. And then slowly open the elbows, lower the head with control. Widen the feet a little bit on the mat and grab your bolster. And you bring your bolster or your cushion under your buttocks. So lift the hips, slide it under. Have your strap handy and bring the left foot into the strap. Straighten the right leg out. Keep the toes curled back on that leg that's facing the ceiling. Now, keeping the foot facing the ceiling, bring your knee, your left knee towards your rib cage. So you're bending the left knee, but the foot stays facing the ceiling. Now at this stage you might have hold of the strap closer to the foot, or you might be holding your hamstring. But your knee is bent, the bottom of the foot facing the ceiling still. And you're in this half happy baby position where you can maintain strap control. Your left hand might even reach the bottom of the foot. You might hold the hamstring down. You might practice that slow, full breath. Belly expands. Keep breathing in, ribs expand. Keep breathing in, collarbones lift and widen. And then gently releasing that leg back to the ground. You can extend it out to join the other leg. Let's change feet, bring the strap into the other foot. Toes curled back, heel to heaven. Now keeping the bottom of the foot oriented to the ceiling, you start to bring the right knee back to the rib cage, securing it in that bent position with your hand to foot, hand to strap, or hand to hamstring. So getting this final hip opening. Half happy baby. And then slowly releasing that, bringing both feet out temporarily. Noticing how your hips are feeling. And to complete the session, bend the knees and lift your hips up and slide the bolster under your thighs. So preparing for supported Shavasana. Using your awareness of your body to notice any tense or tight areas. And simply inviting them to relax, to soften. And start to become aware of your fingers and toes. Bending your knees and elbows. And grabbing hold of the knees, gently tractioning out the low back. You might rotate the ankles or sway side to side, or all the above. You might stretch. When you've had enough of the fidgeting, you can roll to one side and take a seat. Notice the hips today. Thanks for joining me. Namaste. See you next time.